What's going on, everybody? We back again, another episode of Coffee Talks, where I'm curating some of my favorite coffee roasters and leadership talks for some of my favorite people. I got a good one for you today. Madcap Coffee up in Michigan. This roaster, great coffee, never disappoints. And this is a holiday one. It's a winter solstice, I guess that's how you'd say it. It's such a rich, diverse coffee. So when you taste it, you're really getting a lot of complexity. Baking spices, definitely has a lot of those fall vibes to it. I guess wintry vibes. A lot of dark chocolate tasting, a lot of that richness to it. It is such a delicious coffee. I mean, it's one of those coffees, you're drinking it, you want to keep drinking it over and over again. Madcap, winter solstice, never disappoints. All right, back again with another leadership talk. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, John Maxwell. Get the book. I'm just giving you a 30,000 foot flyby, but we're going to talk about the sixth law, the law of solid ground. Trust is the foundation of leadership. How important is trust? Guess what? It's everything. Losing trust is one of the worst things can happen as a leader. But here's the problem. Sometimes we are misinformed on how we think you develop and gain trust. Here's what we think to develop and gain trust. We could just never make mistakes. We have to be perfect. We have to be Superman or Superwoman. We have to be the best at everything. That's the only way people will trust us. That's not it. Guess what? People know you're not going to be perfect. People know you're going to have hiccups. People know you're going to every once in a while do something you shouldn't. People know sometimes you're going to make a decision because you're going to stretch yourself. You're going to try something new. You're going to try to be innovative. It's not going to work. Here's the kicker. Do you admit when you're wrong? Do you admit that you made a hiccup? Do you admit that, hey, good idea, didn't execute it right, or maybe it wasn't the best idea, but we tried? Do you admit whenever you have this lack of connection? I love the quote by Craig Wethrow. He used to be the Pepsi CEO. People will tolerate honest mistakes, but if you violate their trust, you'll find it very difficult to ever regain their confidence. That is one reason that you need to treat trust as the most important, precious asset. You may fool your boss, but you can never fool your colleagues or your subordinates. Listen to me, people know that whether they can trust you or not, it's not about being perfect. It's about how do you handle yourself, and how you handle yourself is all about your character. Do you have good character? Do you have honest character? Do you have character that can be trusted? And so characters communicate in several ways. Characters communicate in number one is consistency. Do people know what they can expect from you? If one day you come in and you're in a great mood and the next day you're angry at the world, and one day you're positive, next day you're Debbie Downer, and you're like a roller coaster, and they're always walking on eggshells and they don't know what they're going to get from you, and every little hiccup just causes you to blow your top and you go angry, and they're just always ducking and dodging. Guess what? People are not going to trust you. Be consistent. Let your people know what your expectations are. Be the person that you want them to be. Lead from how you want your people to follow. Get to that place where you're consistent and they understand what they can expect. Second, character communicates potential. Look at me. People don't care if you have talent. People care whether or not you're executing on your talent, right? Are you someone that they go, you know what, I want to follow this person because we're going to go places. This is a leader I want to follow because they're going to take us somewhere. They got big vision and they have the ability to execute on that vision. Be the kind of leader that can actually lead people into places that are new and take new territory and take new ground. So that means you may have to grow. It means you may have to learn. It means you may have to develop yourself. It means you need to work on your weaknesses and build up your strengths so you can be the leader that has the potential to go the places that needs to go. And leaders, listen to me, character communicates respect. People don't respect you because of your title. They don't respect you because of your pay. They don't even respect you because of the company or the organization. You know what they respect you? Because you're a person of your word, because you're authentic, because you're somebody that they can trust in the fact that you're consistent, and it's because you have potential and the discipline to execute on your potential. That's what makes people respect you. It's not about being perfect. It's not about your title. It's not about any other flamboyant awards. It's about, are you someone could follow or not? And here's the last thing you gotta understand. Character communicates, I truly want the best for you. I really want the best for you. There's a study done years ago, and it just blew me away. This was in the book Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last. And the study goes like this. When they were coming out of World War II, they couldn't understand how the Nazi soldiers could be so horrendously horrible that they would murder millions of Jewish people. So they started interviewing all the German soldiers, and they go, how could you support a war like that? How could you be a part of that? And you know the German soldiers' response was? I mean, we kind of had an inkling it was going on, but we weren't in the concentration camps. We're on the battlegrounds. We weren't thinking about that. We're thinking about the war. Like, we didn't even know the specifics of everything. So it was just kind of out of sight, out of mind. And so they started thinking, if people have no connection to a person, will they actually truly want the best for them? So in the 60s, what they did is they did an experiment. They took an actor and they hooked this actor up to a fake electricity machine. And then they brought in all these subjects. And they said, we're gonna have you ask this person questions. Now the people didn't know it was an actor, and they didn't know the machine was fake. And they said, here's the thing, every time they get something wrong, move the dial up. 1's gonna be painful. 10, if you get to 10, it will kill them. So the first study was, they sat across the table with each other, and they answered it. And the highest it would get was like 3. And people quit, no, I can't do it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. And then what they did is they moved them to behind the glass so they could see the person, but the person couldn't see them. And the highest it would get was like 4, maybe 5. Then they did it where they couldn't see the person, but they could hear the person, and they moved the dial up to 6 or 7. Then they did it where they couldn't see it, they couldn't hear it, they just said they got the answer right, got the answer wrong. That was all it was. They didn't hear the person's voice, they didn't hear it, they couldn't see it, nothing. Almost every single one of them moved the dial all the way to 10. Why is that? Because the farther you get away from people, the less you actually value them as people. It means if they're just names on a spreadsheet, or they're just names on a piece of paper, they're stats to you, not people to you. And if they're not people to you, you won't have the character to actually value and want their best. You won't want the best for them. So the kicker here is, you've got to connect with your people. If you want your people to trust you, then you need to truly want the best for them. You can't get to that place unless you develop relationships with them. All right, guys, I hope you lead from authenticity. I hope you love people and care for them and treasure them. And I hope you build trust. And while you're doing it, just drink some good coffee along the way. Love you guys. Pray God's peace.